Cemeteries, places of rest where the dead are laid to eternal peace. But what happens when the dead don't stay at rest? Across the world there are old cemeteries shrouded in mystery and fear, places so haunted that even the bravest locals avoid them. We're talking about cemeteries where the air grows heavy with dread, where shadows move on their own, and where the whispers of the dead can be heard on the wind. Today, we're diving deep into 4 chilling tales of cemeteries where the line between the living and the dead is dangerously thin. These aren't just stories, folks. These are real places with real energy and real consequences for those who dare to enter. Get ready to explore the dark side of history and the restless spirits that refuse to stay buried. Our first stop takes us to Edinburgh, Scotland, a city steeped in history and shadowed by the paranormal. We're investigating Greyfriars Kirkyard, a 16th century cemetery with a sinister reputation. This isn't just any old graveyard. It's a place where the energy is so thick, so oppressive, that you can feel it pressing down on you the moment you step through the gates. At the heart of this haunting lies the Black Mausoleum, the final resting place of Sir George Mackenzie, a ruthless 17th century Scottish lawyer known as Bloody Mackenzie. Mackenzie was notorious for his brutal persecution of the Covenanters, those who fought for religious freedom. He imprisoned and tortured them in the very kirkyard where he now lies. Locals say Mackenzie's soul, twisted by his own cruelty, was unable to find peace. He became trapped within the mausoleum, his rage and fury transforming him into a malevolent entity. He is known as the Mackenzie Poltergeist, and he's considered one of the most violent and aggressive spirits in the world. Visitors to the Black Mausoleum have reported being scratched, pushed, and even bitten by unseen hands. They describe feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, a cold, unseen presence that seems to watch their every move. Some have even claimed to have been physically thrown from the mausoleum, as if an unseen force was trying to expel them from the cursed ground. The sound of screams, the anguished cries of Mackenzie's victims, are said to echo through the graveyard, a chilling reminder of the horrors that transpired within these walls. Is it the vengeful spirit of Bloody Mackenzie driving these hauntings? Or is it the collective agony of the Covenanters, their pain echoing through the centuries? Whatever the source of the paranormal activity, one thing is certain. Greyfriars Kirkyard is a place where the dead refuse to rest. Our journey into the heart of the haunted takes us now to Justice, Illinois, a town with a spectral legend that's been captivating and terrifying people for decades. We're talking about Resurrection Mary, the ghostly hitchhiker who haunts Archer Avenue, a stretch of road that runs alongside Resurrection Cemetery. The story goes back to the 1930s, during the peak of the Great Depression. A young woman named Mary, dressed to the nines in a white dress and dancing shoes, left a dance hall one night arguing with her boyfriend. She stormed out, determined to walk home alone. That same night, Mary was struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver just outside Resurrection Cemetery. Soon after, reports began to surface of a young woman in a white dress, matching Mary's description, hitchhiking along Archer Avenue. Drivers who stopped to offer her a ride were met with a chilling sight. A beautiful young woman with an air of sadness about her. Some drivers claimed she vanished from their cars without a trace, leaving behind only a chill and the faint scent of lilac. Is Mary's spirit searching for her final resting place? Or is she trapped in an endless loop, reliving the night of her death? Whatever the reason for her ghostly hitchhiking, one thing is certain. Resurrection Mary remains one of the most enduring and unsettling ghost stories in America. Our next destination takes us deep into the heart of New Orleans, a city pulsing with life, music, and a history steeped in the paranormal. We're investigating St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, the oldest cemetery in New Orleans and arguably the most haunted. This isn't your typical graveyard, it's a city of the dead, with towering tombs, narrow passageways, and an atmosphere thick with mystery and magic. This cemetery is the final resting place of Marie Laveau, the legendary voodoo queen of New Orleans. In life, she was a powerful practitioner of voodoo, revered and feared for her connection to the spirit world. In death, her legend has only grown. and her presence is still felt within the cemetery walls. Visitors to St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 have reported witnessing strange and unsettling occurrences. Shadowy figures, dressed in 19th century funeral attire, have been seen gliding through the tombs, their footsteps making no sound. They seem to be mourning, their sorrow palpable. But who are they mourning for? The sound of chanting and drumming, rhythms that seem to vibrate from the earth itself, have been reported, even when no one else is around. Some believe these are remnants of Marie Laveau's rituals, her connection to the spirit world so strong that it transcends death. There are those who claim to have encountered Marie Laveau's spirit herself, a commanding presence radiating power and wisdom. They say she still practices her craft within the cemetery walls, her spirit bound to the city she ruled in life. Locals know to tread carefully in St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. They avoid the cemetery after dark, respecting the delicate balance between the living and the dead. They know that disturbing the spirits, especially a spirit as powerful as Marie Laveau, could have dire consequences. Is St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 a gateway to the spirit world? A place where the veil between life and death is thin enough for the spirits to cross over? Or is it simply a place where the stories and legends of New Orleans have taken on a life of their own? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain: St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 is a place of power, mystery, and a haunting reminder that some spirits never truly leave. Our final destination takes us to London, England, a city steeped in history and haunted by countless tales of the unexplained. We're entering the unsettling world of Highgate Cemetery, a Victorian-era burial ground that has become synonymous with tales of vampires, shadowy figures, and the restless dead. Highgate Cemetery isn't just a place of mourning, it's a place frozen in time. The Victorian obsession with death and the afterlife is evident in the elaborate tombs, the mournful statues, and the sense that this place exists on the very edge of reality. In the 1970s, Highgate Cemetery gained notoriety as the alleged hunting ground of the Highgate vampire. Reports of a tall, dark figure with glowing red eyes stalking the cemetery at night sent chills down the spines of Londoners. Some claim to have seen this figure hovering over graves, as if draining the life force from the recently deceased. But the Highgate vampire isn't the only entity said to haunt these grounds. Visitors have reported hearing whispers coming from the graves, disembodied voices that seem to beckon them closer. They speak of shadowy figures darting between the tombs, vanishing when approached, as if playing a macabre game of hide and seek. As daylight fades and shadows lengthen, Highgate Cemetery takes on an even more unsettling atmosphere. Locals will tell you that Highgate Cemetery is best avoided after sunset. They know that some secrets are best left buried and that some gates are meant to remain closed. These 4 cemeteries are more than just resting places for the dead. They're gateways to the unknown, where the line between the living and the dead is dangerously thin. Whether it's vengeful spirits, cursed legends, or unexplained phenomena, these haunting tales remind us that some places are better left undisturbed. The energy within these cemeteries is real, a testament to the raw power of the afterlife. But these stories also remind us of the enduring power of the human spirit. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more chilling tales. And the next time you find yourself near an old cemetery, remember, sometimes the dead don't stay buried.